Oh man, you are back for the second vid letter of 2024. And let me tell you, February was like super duper duper packed. Had a lot going on. It's been amazing. So I got an announcement, got a little bit of reflection of the awesome things that happened last month, and also some exciting things that are going on in the month of March that you should keep an eye out for. So first, let's talk about the announcement. On March 22nd, I am going to be hosting, facilitating, delivering a learning experience. I don't want to call it webinar because, I'm going to have fun. And if you're there, you're going to have fun. It's a micro learning experience where I'm going to help people understand the three awakenings that come from the virtual sweat equity improvement. March 22nd, that's a Friday. It's going to be in the middle of the day. There's going to be a link down there. Sign up for that bad boy because we're about to have some fun and it's going to be interactive. So you'll get some information, some stuff so that you can actually be involved and contribute to the learning experience for everybody that shows up. And I hope you're going to be there. And you can invite a friend. You don't have to show up solo. You can bring some people with you. I mean, today is Tuesday, March 5th. So this thing's probably going out Wednesday, March 6th. I am going to be at the Hanson Wade conference, Advancing Operational Excellence in Construction. Oh, it's super awesome because on one day one, I'm going to be the facilitator moderator, introducing all the speakers and all the awesome stuff that they're bringing to make the industry better. And then on day two, I'm going to be delivering some content for the purpose of shifting some minds. And I'm going to be a part of a panel. Not sure what I did. I think it's really credit to all of you, the L&M family out there that have been supportive. And that kind of led to me being a part of this thing, which is, again, pretty damn fancy. So keep an eye out for video clips from that event. Reflection time. Like I said, February was massive. I had a lot going on. Got podcasts, the Your Monday Morning Hug newsletter on the LinkedIn, which has been growing and getting good response on the subjects and topics that are out there. And I don't know if you've noticed, but I've kind of been on this string of being interviewed on podcasts, and the goal is to keep doing that all year long. 4 of the interviews that I had were released in February. The first one I want to talk about is growth hacking culture with my friend Ivan Palomo. Super awesome guy. I listened to a couple of his other episodes. He's very people focused. And when I say people focused, his guests, the people that he interviews, he brings on, tease out the practices that they're using to make things better for their workforce so that the listener obviously can take some nuggets from that and put them into practice and make for a better experience out there in the professional world. I also got interviewed by my friend, Miss Sneha, on Offsite Dirt. She asked me a simple question and I kind of tripped up all over myself because I got so excited because I was talking to her because she's amazing. I got to talk about my missteps, some of the goofy things I did, and one of the very first big continuous improvement efforts that I launched on my own. So you want to check it out for the mistakes that I made so that you don't have to repeat them. I also got interviewed by Miss Jen DeWall on the Crestcom podcast, where we got to talk a lot about communication, specifically around, what are we doing as leaders that are making it, how are we adding friction to our day? We kind of bounced around a little bit. They did a phenomenal job of editing that conversation because I was all over the place. Anyways, turned out that there was some pretty good stuff. And then the last one is the Business Ownership podcast with Michelle Nedelik. Her sense of humor, when I was prepping for the interview, I was I always want to listen to kind of get a feel for the energy that they bring and make sure I behave appropriately because sometimes I'm a little too much. But her sense of humor comes through in all of her interviews. And I feel like besides the No BS with Jen and Jess live streams, this podcast with Michelle is probably where I was the silliest and most playful. That being said, I kind of ended up sounding a little smart. So I'd love for you to check it out. Let me know, am I delusional in thinking that I sounded smart? Of course, we got the Learnings and Missteps podcast still going strong, still alive after 2 years, 3 years, whatever it is. And the 2 conversations that released in February One is with Dr. G, Dr. Giovanna Brasfield, who is a baller in the LA area. I would go and list off all her accolades, except that she seems to be adding a new one like every single day. The one big nugget, the simple one that I took away from my conversation with her was about like removing the stinking thinking. And listen to our conversation. You'll get all the context behind that. But if you got some stinking thinking, get rid of it. And there's simple ways that she shares on how you can like squash that so that you can grow and blossom into the amazing human being you are intended to be. I also, most recently, my conversations with Mr. Matt Oley. If you're not on the LinkedIn, you may not know him very well, but if you are on the LinkedIn, you got to follow him. That boy puts out some real, we'll just say that, real talk. He was courageous enough to go very deep and entertain the questions I had about, we talk about sobriety, we talk about relationships, we talk about some of the like the realities of what the general expectation of masculinity and being a man is, should be, and how that kind of gets us all twisted up. He go like again, he reveals a whole bunch of stuff that I know many of you out there can relate to. And we also talk about the things he and I both do to help keep our minds centered and focused on the now, which for me helps me contribute and continue to share my gifts and talents in service to others. So super powerful stuff. And then at the very beginning of the month, we had the second Decentralized conference about the entrepreneurial mindset in construction, which was awesome, man. I put it together. Luckily, everyone that I invited was super open to it. And they brought it, man. They brought their A game. Now, it was over the course of 4 hours. So we kind of had a bunch of viewers tail off at the end. And there was some real juicy stuff that if you're running a trade business and looking to expand and get out of that, or if you're just looking to transform your leadership style so that you can activate and engage all of your people, that stuff was at the very end. And we had a lot of really great stuff at the beginning. So I'm going to leave the links down there. Hope you check it out and leave some comments, because I don't know what you're thinking, and you probably know, but my healthy ego tells me that everything is just phenomenal and magical. And if you don't tell me that maybe it's not as phenomenal and magical as I want it to be, I'm just going to keep doing it the way I'm doing it. And normally I have a resource for you here. However, that's a ton of content. That is hours upon, like all this stuff I just talked about, hours and hours and hours of content for you to listen on your drive, when you're doing your chores, when you're mowing the lawn, when you're working out. So the one thing I'll ask you to do is, of the content that you find meaningful, that caused you to think, that made you say, oh man, that's important, I want you to like and follow whoever the host of that show is. And I also want you to share it with somebody that you think it can help. Because those comments, those likes, those shares, they go a long way in terms of us staying motivated, the content creators out there in the world, and also serving others, because that's the whole point. We are here to leave this world better than we found it. And as always, be kind to yourself, be cool, and we'll talk at you next time. Peace.